Hello guys, this is Tamika Peters, President and CEO of Grow Your Nonprofit. Today we're doing something different, no guests, only me, your host of Grow Your Nonprofit, Tamika Peters. I wanted to talk to you today about the myths of starting a nonprofit. But before we get started, I'd like to thank the sponsors of my podcast, Trinity Life Foundation Naples, helping at-risk youth through their enrichment programs. AVID, that stands for the Associations of Haitians Living Abroad. They just opened an amazing support center right here in the beautiful Fort Myers, where they will help you with immigration support, utility billing, and English as a second language. Best Insurance USA, a Florida Blue provider. Last but not least, Premier Mobile Health Services, your route to better health. So, starting a nonprofit. I receive so many questions about people enthusiastic about giving back, making an impact in the community. They want to start a nonprofit. So, when you think about starting a nonprofit, think of it just like you're starting a new business. Just like starting a new business, you need startup capital. That's right. Just because it's a nonprofit doesn't mean that you do not need startup capital. Let's think about it. Well, we have to file our paperwork to become a nonprofit. Either you have the expertise to do it the correct way, or you hire someone to do that paperwork for you. It's with the IRS to become a nonprofit to be approved. Once you become approved, you'll receive an IRS determination letter. Next step, forming a board. Thinking about your board members. Thinking about a diverse group of people. When I say diversity, not just race and ethnicity, I'm talking about a diverse group of people with skills, people who are passionate about your cause and some have some relation to your cause. So, for example, if it's a food pantry, perhaps someone was homeless for a year and they experience food insecurity and they know what it's like. That would be a great person to be on your board. Someone who's an accountant, maybe someone who is in the marketing, or someone who is an attorney. A business owner is also a great person to have on your board because they're able to give, and help you leverage your organization, which all board members need to do. You form your board, it always will be an uneven number. The next step is to create a budget. That's what your projected income and expenses will be. So, for example, you have a goal of serving 50 people for the year. Perhaps you have a budget of $20,000. How are you going to raise that $20,000? Are you going to have a few signature events? Or are you going to have a fee for service? Are you going after government contracts? How are you going to raise that money? Because for the first 2 years of your nonprofit, sometimes the larger grantors, you're not eligible to apply for the grant because they want to see nonprofits who A, have skin in the game, B, who are already out there in the community providing the services. They have the data. They've built the credibility in the community that they are doing what they say they are doing before they invest. Another thing to consider, even before starting a nonprofit, is there an organization already doing what you want to do? If the answer is yes, what are you doing differently that organization is not doing? What are you doing to stand out from the crowd? Or what is the gap in service? Because grantors, especially community foundations, United Ways of the World, they do not like duplication of services. You have so many nonprofits competing for the same dollars. They would rather see you join and support that nonprofit that's already in existence, that is already helping people, or somehow come together, figure out that way to come together. But the likelihood of getting funding, unless you're filling in a gap that's not being serviced, that could be pretty tough. So next step is your strategic plan. Your strategic plan is your roadmap to success. That's your long-term and your short-term goals. What do you plan to do in year 1, year 2? How many people you plan to serve? How do you plan to do that? It has a marketing component. It has a fundraising component. It has an operations component. It has a staffing needs component as well. What grants you plan to go after? So you have that in place. Your activities calendar. When I say activities calendar, that just doesn't mean events. So that includes when you file your annual 990, that's your nonprofit taxes, when you have your annual board meeting, elections that are needed in place, Also, if you have your end of year giving campaign, the ways you're going to raise money, and you have all of those activities with a calendar from January all the way to December, even if your fiscal year is a calendar year, which is January through December, or say July 1st through June 30th of the following year. So thinking about all that, and also compliance, when you have your tax exemption certificate, being in compliance with that. Your solicitation permit. A lot of nonprofits are not aware that you need a solicitation permit. You get that from the Department of Agriculture. That solicitation permit legally gives you the rights to solicit money from donors. So without that, and you're soliciting money, you can find yourself with being penalized for not having that solicitation permit. So thinking about these things when you're starting a nonprofit, I know you're really excited, but it's a lot of work. And also, there will be times where, especially in the beginning, you will not get paid. So you will have to already have an income or a business already in place that's taking care of your essential needs for yourself and your family. So just because you're a nonprofit does not mean you can't be profitable. Because say you bring in $20,000 for the year, you raised $20,000 for the year, but your expenses are at $15,000. The $5,000 is that overage, and you never want to zero out at the end of your budget, because you're always going to have ongoing, recurring expenses. So you want to be able to provide that. So really good planning, doing your research, and don't be afraid to invest in professional help. I always look at it as, if you got into an accident, you would hire an attorney. If you had cancer, you would want to see an oncologist. If you're having issues with your teeth, you would want to see a dentist, right? So you would need to hire a professional to help you along the way, because otherwise you'll find yourself spinning your wheels, trying to figure out things the hard way, and it's just going to take you longer. So just like any business, you need to invest in it if you want to grow. A lot of people say, well, I'm just a nonprofit, we don't have the funding. Consultants should do it for free. Consultants have responsibilities and their families to look out for. So who's going to do services for free just because someone is a nonprofit? Also with grants, I know a lot of nonprofits don't have the funding to pay a grant writer. So oftentimes they propose, well, I'll give you a percentage of the grant if it's awarded. Well, think about it. Will you do a job that will require hours and hours of your time? You apply for a grant. You won't know if you even secured a grant for 6 months. Say it comes back, you didn't secure that, and you do that over and over again. How are you to survive? How could you ask someone to do that? That is just not feasible. So in the beginning, you yourself need to learn how to write grants or find the funding in your startup capital to write the grants on your own. If you need professional help from a consultant with over 10 years of experience, reach out to me and my team at Grow Your Nonprofit. Our number and website is here on the screen. Check out our website for all of our services, and stay tuned for more empowering content on the Grow Your Nonprofit podcast. Bye-bye. Introducing the Grow Your Nonprofit merch in our Etsy store. So go on over to our Etsy store today and explore our collection. Pick your favorites. By doing so, you're not only elevating your style, but also contributing to the Grow Your Nonprofit mission. Thank you for being part of our community, and thank you for your dedication to making a difference. We appreciate your support, and we can't wait to see you rocking our Grow Your Nonprofit merch. Now stay tuned for more empowering content on Grow Your Nonprofit podcast. And until our next time, keep growing and keep giving.